Hey, everybody, welcome back to Fatherhood Unscripted. It's DJ and Alec, and we have a special guest today, Tyler, the creator of At Inspiring Father, joining us. Known for his uplifting content and dedication to empowering dads everywhere, he's a true advocate for intentional fatherhood. Through his platform, Inspiring Father encourages men to lead with love, resilience, and purpose, showing that being a dad isn't just a title, it's a calling. And we're very grateful that he has joined us today. He's going to share his journey, his insights, and the lessons he's learned along the way. Without further ado, welcome, Tyler.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the intro, and I appreciate all that. It's very excited to be on here, and looking forward to just having a conversation with you guys.
It's very early Saturday morning, um, and yeah, we like to get up. It just pushes that brain boost, I guess, in the morning, gets you a little bit more awakened on a Saturday morning. We do record this very early, but yeah, we are very excited to connect with you and kind of talk with you about your story and your journey. And like we were talking about a little bit before the podcast, you got all your kids, and can you just walk us through, just kind of paint a picture of who Tyler is, what your story is?
Yeah. So as we were kind of chatting before, my story is kind of unique in the sense of being a single father. I'm not a. I got divorced 2 years ago, so I have four kids, two separate relationships, three kids with one and one with the other. But my story is unique in the sense that I wasn't expected to be in this place, but at the same time, it's landed me in a spot where, with what I've gone through in my journey, mentally, emotionally, it's landed in me to want to help other fathers out there and inspire other fathers out there. Because the one thing that I've been, one of the main reasons why I've gotten into this is I really ask myself, what am I good at? What do I do well? And I really pride myself in being a good father
Mm.
and showing up and being flexible with my entrepreneurial schedule to be there for whatever the events they have. Make sure that I'm present with them as much as I can be. It's not easy all the time, just because there's a lot to manage in many different ways for me. But I make it work, and the one thing that my kids I believe they'll be able to say is that my dad was there, and that's something I forever will be grateful to be able to say that, because it's true. And no matter the turmoil, no matter the relationships that have ended, for me, I've turned this into a positive situation to where I know other fathers out there can gain trust and understanding that anything is possible, right? It's not a matter of, you're going to have leaps or dips in life, right? You're not going to have
Mhm.
nothing's ever going to be positive, but there's people out there that actually have gone through worse things than I have, right? And I know that.
Mhm.
And so one of the things that I really try to just stay grounded within myself, stay humble, and keep working on my internal self and myself, personally, and know that my kids are my main priority, and that they look up to me, to be that role model for them. So that's my motto is, inspire to be the hero to your children's story, and that's something that I take pride in. I
Mm.
hold myself accountable to that, because I think a lot of fathers out there, they'll show up, but they won't be present. They'll be on their phones. They'll be kind of just sitting on the couch or whatever, and it's like, man, like, you got to get up and play with your kids and make memories with them. It's something that I have, that also bothered me as well. Getting into this space, I'm like, I just know there's a lot of fathers out there they don't, they're not, they may be there after a long, hard day of work, but they're not there for their
Mhm.
kids. And a lot of it's because they're not working on their mental health. They're not getting the exercise they need. They're not reading. They're not growing. They're not doing the things that they need to do for their own self to feel happy and excited and wanting to be, more energetic, I guess, for their kids. There are a lot of it's just unfortunate the world is what it is. You work really hard, and you kind of don't have the energy to play with your kids, right? So that's kind of the reason I've started this. I've also gone through a journey where My when my relationship, my last relationship, you know, there she had 3 kids, and their father wasn't as present during our relationship, and I kind of stepped up to be that father figure for her kids, and it kind of blew my mind because I'm like, wow, how does this guy, as a father, not want to be like, he just sits, lets his kid just watch TV all day or whatever, it's like it drives me crazy. So like it's one of those things where I'm like, being active is a big priority for me. Getting outside, playing, doing the things, getting off technology. Those things are something that also has kind of created my story to where I want to reach fathers out there to be more active with their children as well.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So that's in the nutshell, kind of where I'm at, kind of what I'm looking, kind of the reasons I've started my journey of this page and growing. I've got a lot of things on the docket this year that I want to do, to kind of get more reach and help as many people as possible.
Well, that's awesome. That's really kind of what our story is too. Just we want to build that community of dads and just let other dads know, they're not alone in your journey, and we all go through a lot of the same things. I mean, we're all completely different, but a lot of the base things of fatherhood are all the core things of fatherhood, we should say, are the same. From mental health to wanting to be in shape to hopefully wanting to find more time with your kids, because there are a lot of dads out there, like you said, that just, oh, I have kids. Oh, wait, I do have kids. Um, and I feel like, a lot of us growing up, we feel that because, a lot of times our dads were those workaholics and they came home and then they were that same way. So we grew up knowing that, but then we want to change the script and we want to change it up nowadays for our kids because we want the better life for them that we might not have had or might have dreamed of.
Exactly. Yeah, and I mean, another unique part of my story is my biological father. I have no relationship with him at all. So he left basically. I haven't talked to him since I was maybe 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
Uh, so yeah, I had a stepfather growing up, and it was kind of hard to bond with him. But I had a good relationship for most part with him, and he did raise me in a way. But it was still, I kind of tailored to my mom more so than him, right? So my story is a little unique in that sense where I didn't have a father, a biological father in my life, and that kind of is a mystery to me. I didn't understand, and I don't. He doesn't even consider me his son, which is crazy
Hmm.
too. How could you do that to a child? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. So that's another thing is, yeah, you just don't know. That's really inspired me to kind of even be more of a father figure to be more present to my kids, and like,
Right.
now, obviously, not everybody's going to go through a situation where but there's a lot of fathers out there that just leave their kids, right?
Yep.
That's another thing, that there's a relationship that breaks up, and they don't want nothing to do with the child, and they just leave the child stranded, and it's like, I don't understand how you can even comprehend to do that. Like, it just does. It baffles my mind.
Yep.
That's one of those things that doesn't make sense. Even a mother, like, how could she leave her kids? Like, I don't get how you can leave children left in the dark. They don't deserve that. They don't deserve that at all. They just, not every relationship and not every situation is going to be easy, but you just got to find a way to make it work. Like, no matter what, find a way for the child to make it work.
Hmm.
For
So
sure. I definitely like, you know, it's it's crazy because I feel like until people like our generation, I feel like is the one that is really stepping up and saying enough is enough. Like I don't want to continue this cycle of unhealthy mental crap and putting that on my children.
yeah,
And I feel like really the generational curse or whatever it is, you're breaking that cycle and saying like enough is enough.
yeah,
And I don't know what your dad had as an example, like your biological dad, or what his story is for his life growing up. But at some point, somebody's got to step up and say, "Look, like my children don't deserve this."
right,
And I feel like you have made that decision, and now your kids will be in a far better place because you did make that decision. And
yeah,
so
Yeah, and that's
I
a
really,
generational curse. That exactly. I like that. I like the way you said that because it is a generational curse that you got to break. Right? We got to break these habits that our parents kind of passed down to us sometimes. Right?
right.
And they did the best they can. I'm not. It is what it is. It's not like I can
Eh,
go back and change it. Right? We can't change it. But the only thing we can change is what we can control ourselves. We have to be able to change ourselves
Hmm.
to help our next generation. That's the biggest thing for me is I want the kids in the next my kids to inspire the kids in the next generation. That's the thing. Like, I want the kids for the next generation to grow up strong and healthy as best as possible because mental health isn't going to get any better unless you're working on it, right?
right.
And you know nobody knows how to really help themselves if all the time. It's hard to help yourself all the time. You gotta seek others, seek guidance. You got to get help from others and talk to other people. When you're talking on the through gaming and stuff, it's cool. All this gaming stuff is cool, but it's like I guess you're talking. I guess it's a good thing is you're having communication with other people. You're not just sitting there in a room doing nothing. But I think it's unique to see that transformation. But I think parents got to lead the way. I think especially fathers. I think my biggest thing, and I think I've said this many times, fathers are the most important relationship in a child's life, more so than mothers. And it's not no knock on a mom. I think mothers are super super important as well, but I think fathers set the foundation for a child
Hmm.
mentally, emotionally, physically. They are the role model that a child looks up to, and more so than the mom, because the mom is the more nurturing kind. And I really believe that fathers, that's where we have to step up and be that guide and be that accountable guide for not only ourselves but for them.
Hmm.
So
That's kind of what our logo is the family tree, and then our name Father Unscripted is in the roots. So kind of going back to what you said, the fatherhood is the basis. Like with the family, or for us, is the fatherhood is the root of the family, and like we want to be there and be that strong root because when something attacks our family and tries to cut us down, we want to be that strong, that strength that holds it together.
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
100%. I agree with you. Totally agree.
Hmm.
Yep. And I know, like, it's like not having that, because I'll kind of share with some of my journey is like I didn't have an immediate connection with my children when they were born. Like I felt like
Hmm.
something was wrong with me. I was like, what is going on? I see some dads are like, yeah, the moment I saw them, I fell in love, I was connected, and I was like, I just don't, I don't feel this. I don't know
Really?
if like it was just crazy. And um it's what's happened is like it's just blossomed over the course of the 4 almost 5 years of the oldest and the 2 almost 3 years of their twins. And just seeing like with moms, like they grow the child inside them, so like there is a natural connection usually with their children. And so I feel like with dads, like there is that have to be intentional with creating that connection. And I think that was where I was kind of missing it. I thought that would just be an automatic thing, and it's not. It's something that we have to work on. And to your point, like that's why it is so important. That's why
Yeah.
dads need to step up to the plate, and that's why it makes it so much more like makes it a very beautiful uh, relationship because you fought to create that connection. You fought to be there for them when everything maybe inside of you based on your past told you to run or told you you're not going to be good at this, so why even try? Or
Right.
and all of those things, like you could just like every dad has probably gone through it at some point saying, you know what, I don't understand, like I keep screwing up here. And I so like kind of talk us through some of that for you. Like, I know you talked somewhat about, battling through mental um, hurdles, if you will, jumping over those and just kind of still wanting to be there and overcoming it because your children are your biggest why.
Hey everyone, it's one of your favorite hosts of your favorite podcast, Fatherhood Unscripted. I just want to take 1 second to remind you to follow, subscribe, like, share the podcast with everyone so we can get the word out there, so we can build this community. If you're a dad, if you're a man, if you're a parent, you're a mom, we want everyone to enjoy our content and let people know that we're here and we care about you. So I hope you're getting a lot from this episode. We've been having a lot, really good talk with Tyler, and I hope you're getting a lot of little nuggets from it. So please share this podcast. Make sure you follow, download it, save it, and just listen to it over and over and over again. We love you. Let's jump back into the podcast.
The way I've managed to kind of get through some of these emotional mental hurdles, I would say, is really just kind of having that routine where I'm reading, I'm writing,
Mhm.
I'm going on a walk with my other dog, with my pup, my other kid. I mean, and kind of clearing my head. You know, you gotta stay routine. You gotta be consistent with something that inspires you to want to get. Because every day, I don't get up every day wanting to do something, right? I really don't. Like it's hard to push yourself, even as
Mm-hmm.
in general, as a person, as a man, especially, to because you got such a weight and of
Mhm.
things on your shoulders, right? You just feel that pressure all the time, to never stop, and that's something that I do. I don't like to stop. I don't like to sit down and do much, just relaxing. I like to just keep go. So for me, I really enjoy, having that me time in the morning, before the kids get up, and when I do have my kids, and then that way I can then jumpstart my day to kind of have that positive self talk and keep growth and keep going towards something mental, a good mental state, because a lot of the people out there, you just get up and first thing they're like, oh, I don't want to go to work, oh, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. And for me, it's not always consistent, but it's more consistent than not, right? So I try to be, you got to take your wins, and something that I try to do and talk to myself about is, what did I win today, or what I win at today. Three wins every day, right? So, um, small steps, small baby steps is really what it takes, and just keeping a good routine and keeping myself developing and learning new things every day is the biggest thing for me, that I've been able to kind of overcome some mental hurdles, that could have put me in a really deep, dark place. There was a moment where I was in a really dark place, for sure, going through all this, because I didn't understand it. But the one thing I did was just write it out. You got to get it out of your head. You can't keep it stuff inside of you. You got
Mm-hmm.
to find a person to talk to, a friend, whatever it is. You got to let it out, because if you let it, it's just going to eat you up. And I've learned that the hard way, I guess, because I am one of those people that for years I just kept things into myself, um, and didn't really seek to kind of let things out. And I've noticed that when I do that, when I do keep it inside of me, I end up going through I start getting negative inside of my head. I
Mm-hmm.
kind of start getting those negative thoughts. I'm like, I gotta. So I'll go to the gym. I'll go to the gym and make sure I get a workout in, because that helps too. And I'll
Mhm.
do things I like to do. You gotta have hobbies. You gotta have all those things, so where you have your personal time as a father, as a man, that you enjoy doing. It's not always just about just just doing everything for the family all the time. You got to have some me time too. I think that's a big thing that
Yeah.
men don't give themselves all the time. I'm not saying it needs to be every now and again. It's not, but you got to have that time to really bond with other men,
Mhm.
and bond with yourself, really.
Well, that's one of the biggest gifts you can give your kids is by you being healthy. It's going to show them being healthy, and taking
Exactly.
that time is you being healthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I can give myself my all to my kids, right? I don't want to be
Yeah.
able to. I don't want to be short sighted with them, because I'm not mentally, I'm frustrated or I'm irritated. We all have those moments where we're just like overwhelmed, right?
Yep.
Uh, and that's inevitable. We're all,
Mhm.
life has got a million things thrown at you every single day, and so we all know that. And
Yep.
but it's a matter, and a lot of things. I think a lot of men out there, it's patience, right? We don't
Mm-hmm.
have the patience. A lot of men just don't have that patience, and it's not something that's you're born with. It's It's really something that you just have to learn
Yeah.
patience. You have to learn patience to control your emotions. You have to learn patience to focus on what you can control. And people out there, they just overreact to things. They're just, and that's just because they're not mentally strong. They're not mentally working on themselves and learning new things and surrounding themselves with people that inspire them. Right? They're not
Hmm.
learning, and because if you're stuck, if you're stuck in a situation where you don't like it, you can change it at any moment, right?
Yeah.
There's that quote where if you're not changing, you're choosing, right? I've heard that quote go around on the Instagram that one gal said. I don't remember her name, but if you're not changing, you're choosing what your circumstance is, and it's really a matter of. I think that really is a great quote because it's the truth. If
Hmm.
you're not you could change your circumstance at any moment as a person. You can really things change instantly if you want it to, but it's a matter of making that taking that action step to do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree like wholeheartedly with everything that you're saying. Like one thing you mentioned was just patience.
yeah,
We've talked about also like having grace for yourself. Like you're
yeah,
not. I tell people like people who ask, oh, like how do I start a podcast? Just do it. Like
yeah.
you're gonna. And I also tell people like I guarantee you with 100% certainty that you're going to fail. But
Yep.
what you do with that failure like is going to determine whether you succeed or you stay. Like you
Yep.
said, you change or you choose. You can choose that failure and say that defines me. I should never do a podcast because I suck at it. Or you can say, which I've heard this quite a bit, did I win or did I learn? It's not did I lose. You can't lose if you're learning.
Nope.
And so, did I win or did I learn? And if that's a learning part for you, then cool. Learn through it, grow through it. Another thing that you mentioned was just having me time. I, as far as I can remember, I don't know who I learned this from. Maybe somebody from church or something. I don't know. But I've always said time away is just as important as time together
Yep.
because you need to take that time for yourself and reset and make sure that you're at a good place to lead effectively, to give effectively. I'm trying to think of but anyways, just in that, you
And
know,
I agree with that
yeah,
a lot. I think that's huge. I mean, you don't people are scared to start things, and it's like you just it's crazy to me. I mean, I was in that standpoint. Like I used to be camera shy. I used to never take selfie pictures of myself or anything like that. I never did all that stuff because I'm like it wasn't me. At the
yeah,
me, I just wasn't confident. I wasn't confident in doing it, and so I'm like, it comes over time. As
yeah,
you grow through things and go through situations, like you realize that people out there, they just want a story to. They want to hear a story. They want to hear somebody getting going, overcoming failures. They want
Yep.
to hear overcoming challenges, and they want to hear ways that they can get better. And that's all we're looking for. We're all looking to learn from each other because at the end of the day, we're all the same, right? We're all brothers and sisters in the sense of that, right? We're all in this together. We're not nobody's getting out alive. We're all gonna eventually die. That's the whole thing. But it's one of those things where make the best of what you can in your life,
yeah,
and I think people out there got to realize that the world is continuing to evolve, and we have to keep. I think personal brand is a big thing going
Hmm.
forward. I think personal brand and just brand, starting a brand and set in general to kind of leave a legacy for yourself, to be known. I think people that aren't doing that are just going to get left behind because technology is going to just surpass them, right? If you're
yeah,
if you're not going to try to work on yourself and put your name and story out there, then you're not going to really be able to do much in life. I think that's a big thing for me. That's something that I learned at a conference last year is the personal brand
Hmm.
is a big factor in growing, and that takes you time, right? That takes your time to, to yourself to be creative. So I think that's a big factor and helping men out there too, and anybody really, but men especially is we like to be creative. We like to build. We like to build things, right? We like to do things with that help other people. Most of us, right? Most of us do, anyways. And I think that's a big factor that we need to focus on
Mm-hmm.
in that self me time. Is do something that is meaningful with your time. Don't just sit there and. I mean, if you're going fishing or something, like that's great too. But make sure you're kind of prioritizing those things that and those thoughts that and think of things that you want to do for others, because I think serving others is a big thing in the world that I know churches bring that together with people and inspire people to do that, but I don't think enough of it is done consistently. So
And
yeah,
that's kind of what we're waiting for is just getting out there and just making the word known. Like, dads, you have a story. It's all different, but at the same, like we talked about, it's a lot of the same stuff. And just share your story. And that's what we just want to hear. We talked about, so everyone listening to this, we have talked about, reaching out to us, sharing your story. We want to talk to just everyone about your story and make sure that all dads, not even just dads, but just parents, people in general, know that they have a place where they can come talk to people.
yeah,
And we have talked, like, some people don't want to talk to some two random guys on the internet. So like for me, when I was going through my dark days, excuse me, um, my wife was like, you got to talk to somebody. Like, I love my wife to death, but she doesn't want to sit around and just listen to me talk. And so I reached out and I found BetterHelp, and just going through that helped me a lot. And so we pushed that a lot in here. Like, just find someone to, like, if you feel like you're going through a hard time, and you feel like, I'm going to make a bad decision, like, talk to someone first, then it is really, really hard to even do that. Like, even on BetterHelp, like, I'd text somebody. I didn't talk to someone face to face because I didn't want to tell someone in person, like, oh, this is my issues.
yeah.
Because it's really scary.
It really is. You're right. Yeah,
Yeah. And
and
I
it's
feel
scary to
like,
talk.
oh,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was saying I was agreeing with you.
Oh, yeah. I feel it shows your strength when you are able to come out of your shell a little bit and even share what issues are going on in life, because no one wants to, oh, this is what's wrong with me. Everyone wants to show that perfect side of themselves because that's what they see, and that's what we've come accustomed to with everything on the internet, because it's all glam and prepped up and you know beautiful, but that's not real life.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like on the social media, I think that's a good thing. Is you make a good point right there. I think social media is they make it out to be everyone puts their perfect self
Hmm.
image on there, right? It's not always like that, and nothing is like that. And obviously, you want to stick with a brand, but there's also days where they're tough, and I think that's something I want to do better at, is like showing my tough days, because it's not always positive for me, and I want to be authentic with that, because it's just not going to be that way. But we all, I think you just got to be able to show your true self, and don't be scared to do it. I think people, just like you're scared to talk to a person face to face. I mean, look at you now. You're doing
Hmm.
it now, and you have no problem with it, right? You're not. I mean, yeah, there's insecurities that you're going to always have, but you're facing your fears, and something that your children are looking up to right now. They're saying, "Wow, my dad is able to face his fears. I can do the same." Right? You're setting an example, and that's
Hmm.
something that you may not, they may not, it may not, you may not see it right now, the results of it, but as they get older, they're going to see you're going to see the results. Like I see that with my son, my 12-year-old. Like he struggles with his own insecurities of things, and but I know he looks up to me. I know he looks up to me because I see him do the same things I do when it comes to whatever it is. What they're working out or wanting to go to the gym or whatever it is. Like I see I see his. It's just not consistent enough yet for him, because he just hasn't gotten there yet. But I know the habits are being formed for him, or the foundation's being laid for him,
Yeah.
because he's seeing what I'm doing, consistently. And they know, my kids, they love that I've started this page, and they're excited about it, they like help me create content and things like that, because it's something, and my daughter, for example, my 10-year-old daughter, she was scared to always get on like a stage for a while and talk to people herself. But now she's like wants to start her own YouTube channel and all this other stuff. And I'm like, that's awesome. Like that's something that I'm okay with, obviously within limits, right?
Yeah.
But I'm good with. Like I want her to be confident with herself, because a lot of women out there, I think, are a lot of insecure. They're insecure with themselves, and I think a lot of people in general, a lot of men and women are insecure with themselves, and
Hmm.
we have to fight through that. We have to go through that journey of not caring what other people think. Opinions are good to hear, but don't let them soak into your brain and eat you up, so to speak. I think feedback is good, but take it as constructive criticism.
Yeah.
And I think that's if you frame it that way instead of taking it as a negative thought, um, you're going to be able to overcome a lot of challenges mentally, for
Yeah.
sure. So
Yeah, I agree.
I think too much of us do that, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yep. Yep, I definitely agree. Be the example, whether that's working out and showing them how to keep your physical self healthy, whether that's teaching them coping mechanisms, healthy coping mechanisms to deal with any kind of anxiety, fear, frustration. How do we deal with that healthily, in a healthy manner?
Yeah,
And I can just say like, and being honest with your kids too, because I feel like a lot of parents feel like they have to shelter their kids from their emotions, shelter their kids from whatever's going on. And actually being honest with your kids is the best thing that you can do for them, because then they know you're a human being and they know how you are going to be able to deal with those emotions moving forward. And
yeah,
so like we just had Sean Whalen on our
Hmm.
podcast last episode, and that was something he talked about. Like, if you're having a crappy day, just tell your kids, I'm having a crappy day. Like, I'm just not feeling it today. Like, today's just been one thing after another, and just getting it out there and showing them like, okay, dad sometimes has bad days. Like, and then it becomes something normal where we just talk about our emotions with each other. And
yeah,
I always wanted to create this space for our kids where it was they felt safe that they can come to me with any of their emotions, or go to their mom. Like when they become teenagers, that's my hope, is that they feel so safe with us that like when they have a crappy day or they have something happen to them, they come straight to us and they're like, I just want to tell you about my day. I just want to share this. How do you deal with it? And just have that safe space for them and create that, because I didn't have that growing up. Actually, my dad didn't create a safe place at all, and
oh
so
man,
emotionally, physically he was never abusive, but emotionally it took a toll on my mom and I. And so just stuff getting broken, yelling, you know,
yeah,
just really ugly stuff emotionally. And so
yeah,
didn't feel safe. So I want to create that for my children and just be that example for them. And so I love that you're talking about, you know, your son wants to start doing stuff that you're doing. Your daughter wants to start doing stuff that you're doing. Because when you invite them into your space and they see you have the confidence, they want to go out and do the same thing. So
Hmm.
it's
yeah.
cool to see.
It's exciting. It really, when I think about it, it puts me in a space of like, wow, I'm actually, that's the most proud thing I can be or do,
Yeah.
is like, I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect, but if they can take some things away from me that are positive,
Yeah.
that's all I can ask for, right? That's all we can ask for as fathers, is we're never gonna be never gonna be a perfect day. Like never will. Never, we're not gonna have a
Yeah.
perfect. I mean, but there's perfect moments, right? There's moments where we can be perfect in the sense of we can have those moments where we're able to inspire our kids. We're able to pass down something that maybe they thought wasn't possible in themselves, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that children children are like they're sponges. They everything soaks in, and the bad stuff, the good stuff, all of that comes
Oh,
in, blends it. It's a big blender, right? We know that. We all know that. It's just, but the problem is that, um, we overanalyze things. I think as parents in
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
general, we overanalyze it, we overthink it, and we're scared to share it. You know, and I think that at the end of the day, nobody's really that different as humans. Like we all have the same stuff, as you guys have mentioned many times. We all have the same stuff going on. We all go through the same stuff. It's just a different way of different paths. But in the same foundation, it's the same. It's the same. It's all the same. We all. I mean, parenting is one of the hardest things ever to do, and it's the hardest job in the world. It really is because you have to manage not only your emotions, but you have to manage your child's emotions and all the other stuff. So you can't get you can't. There's not another, and it's 24/7. Really, it's 24/7. Like just because I don't have my kids, it doesn't mean I'm not talking to them with their mom. I am. I'm always in communication with them. And I'm always, if there's something that goes on at school or something, then I'm always wanting to know what's going on. So I'm always checking in. So like you're always constantly having to be on top of their emotions and making sure you tell them that you love them every day. You tell them that you miss them and things like that, that you want to be there and present with them no matter what. And short, simple messages are good. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think as parents, and it is not an easy job. And when you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
juggle many different things, it's even harder. So I definitely understand where you're coming from on that end.
Something I've been rolling with lately is like, parenting is only hard for good parents
Yes, yes, yes. I saw that
because it's
recently.
it's really easy to be a bad parent,
Yes,
and
it
life is real
really is.
easy when you don't want to be a parent.
Yeah,
But for,
it
for
really.
us
You
that
can.
are putting in the work, like it's we go through the hard times.
Yeah, I mean, I could have been on a beach in another country right now if I really wanted to do it that way, right?
Yeah.
But but I would, I am again, I'm choosing
Yep.
to be a father. I'm choosing to stand up for my children. I'm choosing to do the right thing because I know it's going to pay off in the long run.
Hmm.
It's not about me. It ain't nothing's about me. It's about them. It's about the future of people in general. And that's the thing with that we have to all understand. It's not about us. None of this fatherhood and parenting is about us. It's about raising kids to be kind, loving, respectful, and growing, the next generation of youth,
Yeah.
really. And that's something that I don't think that parents kind of take back and realize. Sometimes they get caught up in the day to day, and you got to realize that you're not doing this for yourself. You're not just doing this to get by. You're doing this to help the next set of kids and help your grandkids. Hopefully, the future grandkids that you have, you know, be successful.
Well, that's something. So I talked about it a little bit on the last episode, but I got to go see John Maxwell speak a couple weeks ago, and that's
Yeah.
something he talked about was leaving a lot of legs for your legacy.
Yes.
And then that's all we can do is just we want it to run and we want it to be there. And if we can get this out and share our story and kind of share with our dads, like we're going to leave a life legs for our legacy to where we'll pass down generation after generation because we're going to fix it now instead of looking for that acceptance from that cursed generation. We want to break it. And so we got to
Yeah.
stop it now while we can.
Yeah. And that's something I think that I think that you kind of have to self reflect though. You can say it all the time. We can say it to fathers out there as much as we want, right? We can just keep pinning on them like do this, do this, do this. But at the end of the day, it's got to come within yourself.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You can't expect me to inspire you by just something I said on the internet, right? It's not
Yep.
gonna. At the end of the day, we can listen to Ed Milet, Sean Whalens, all those great speakers, all we want. But at the end of the day, it's
Yeah.
about action.
Yep.
I've gone to many conferences, speaking conferences over my over the years, and they're fantastic. I think they're amazing. It's something that I'm actually aspiring to be myself, is potentially be a speaker myself, down the road here. And I think that it leaves a good positive influence. But if you don't take action on any of the things you learn, what are you going to do? What's that going to do for you? Nothing. Like you're
Yep.
just got it's more information. It's more knowledge that you have, but you're not going to be able, if you're not applying it, you're not going to get anywhere with yourself.
And that's all those conferences are, right? You get super amped up and you're like, yeah. And then as you walk out those doors, you're like, all right.
You take. Look. I've taken pages of notes and I've recorded, and that's something I'm proud of myself for last year. Is like, all right, I'm gonna do myself. I'm gonna work on myself brand
Yeah.
Nice.
last year. And that's what I did. I grew myself brand. I started this last year in February, and it inspired me to kind of create a brand. And that's something that I took action on because that was something that was produced at the conference um, from a guy named Brian Mark, and he's something that he just talked about social media in general. And I think that people got to understand like you don't take every single thing from those conferences away or anything that even on social media. But if you take one thing
Mhm.
and just apply it to your life, that's all you need. Like it's simple. We make it too complicated, or we try to take as much knowledge as possible. There's days where I'm like, man, I don't know what I want to talk about today. I don't know what I want to post today. I don't want to do this. Like there's podcast episodes. I'm like, what do I want to talk about? But at the end of the day, you just get on and talk. Like you just get on and talk about
Yep.
stuff. It doesn't matter what it is. You just have to show up, and that's something that you have to do for your children too. You just show up and just be there in that moment with them as best you can, and and understand that you're leaving that legacy, as we talked about. You're leaving that legacy of being there with them. It's one of the legs of your legacy. I like that. I like that, legs of your legacy. It's one of the legs of your legacy that you're leaving,
Yeah.
because you don't know, every moment counts. Every single moment counts. Yeah. So, and you never know which moment they're gonna remember. I guess is at the end of the day. You never know which moment they're gonna remember when they're older, because we all have stories of our parents, right?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Certain things that we remember. I don't remember all of them. I really don't. There's things that I've kind of just like blocked out or forgotten. But that's why video is here and pictures are here, right? So we
Mhm.
remember those moments. I think a lot of people need to take more pictures and videos of their kids too,
Yep.
um, creating those memories so they can look back on it. And the reason I bring that up is I was looking at videos of my kids when they were little a couple last week, and they were like, oh my gosh, they were all laughing and having a good time because it brought good memories back to them.
Mhm.
It wasn't easy. Those it was great times because it was a family, right? But they were laughing at my youngest when she was a baby and how she was just being so funny and so cute. And I was like, man, like this is why you take videos. This is why you take pictures. This is why you look back on that stuff. You take that time to look back on those stuff with your kids. Man, like it reminds them of it brings them joy. It really brings
Mhm.
them joy, and it brings them. It's where the legacy leg is. You're bringing that legacy leg with it along with you, and sharing it with your kids.
Yeah.
So
Definitely. Yeah, it
I love
definitely
that,
is.
man. I love that. I'm gonna use that legacy legs.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good, and you've mentioned too, like just being absolutely present, and it's both you guys have just talked about. Excuse me. Just like how hard being a parent is when you want to be a parent and you want to be present. Like there's days where you work all day and your brain capacity is just not there. And we've kind of talked about this on our podcast too, but like your kids, they don't see you like working, or sometimes they do see you working, whatever. But to them, like my kids, I'll just as an example, they'll wait all day long. Oh, I can't wait till dad gets home.
Yeah,
And then the moment I come to the door, they're so excited to see me. And if I don't like reset my brain and say, hey, look, I got to be present in this moment for them because they've been waiting for this moment all day long. And if I come in and like, come on, give me 10 minutes, or like they see me sit down on the couch and watch TV and don't want to play with them. And I keep telling them, I'll play with you later, and keep pushing them off and brushing them off. Like
I feel that
it tells them like I'm not important. Like,
exactly. Yes,
like dad was important in my brain all day long, but to him, I'm not important to him. He must not have been thinking about me all day long, or wanting to play with me, or wanting to be here with me. And so
yeah,
you can say a lot of things, you can, but your actions speak louder than those words. And
yes,
Mhm.
like you
they
said,
do.
just If you let the
I'm
thing
a
just
super
become
fan.
knowledge and not action, yeah, it just falls to the wayside. Nothing's gonna
Yeah,
really
I mean,
change. So,
I agree. Two examples that I have for you on that end is, I was working the other night because I just got to get a couple things done for one of my businesses, and I was like, I gotta get this stuff done because I didn't get a lot. I have we have a babysitter for my youngest that comes a couple hours a day, and so I was like, I was way behind on work, right? I was like, oh man, I got to catch up. The kids. I went to the gym with the kids, and I went to dinner, took them to dinner, and all that stuff. Got back, I was like, all right, guys, I got to get some work done. But my 5-year-old comes in, and she's like, Dad, you want to play avocado smash? And I said, fine, all right, let's do it. Let's go. So we played avocado smash for like an hour, and I just said, you know what, the work can wait. And that's something that I'm like, I thought about it because I'm like, I got to be that example. Like, no matter how overwhelmed I am with some certain things, that's more important, right? And then my daughter, my 10-year-old, like yesterday, I was the same type of thing where I'm like, man, it's a tough week for me as far as like getting actual work done that I need to get done that I need to work on. She's like, Dad, can you jump on me with a trampoline? Like, she loves jumping on the trampoline with me. So it's like, all right, let's go. Like, I'll just go jump on the trampoline with her because that moment, and then what happened, and it invited my other two kids to get on the trampoline too, even again. So we all were jumping on the trampoline yesterday for a good 35 minutes, 40 minutes before I went to the gym with them. So it's just those moments like you can't have back.
Mhm.
They can't
yeah,
you can't take those back. And like I always have to remind myself, like, if they ask me a question, sometimes I have to say, look, give me an hour and I'll go do that with you, or
yeah,
give me 5 minutes, let me finish this up. If you're communicating with them,
yeah,
great. But if you're just shunning them away and say no, go do something else, man, like that's the worst thing you can do as a father, as a parent in general. You got to show that you actually care, and just communication.
yeah.
Having an open line of communication with them is a big key, and I think parenthood in general, but especially as a father, because yeah, you are tired when you get back home from a long day of work, or you're overwhelmed with all the stuff that you need to catch up on. There's
Hmm.
always going to be something for us to do as parents, right? As
Mhm.
adults, because we want to create a life for our kids that is meaningful. Um, but you're at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you can't shun your kids away for sure.
That's something my daughter will call me out. I'll be like, "Hey, baby, give me 5 minutes," and then homegirl will count to 5 minutes. She'll count 65 times, and she'll show back up. Dad, it's been 5 minutes.
Yes, they keep you accountable.
Yeah,
Hey, you got to give it a little bit longer if you need more time. We underestimate our time that we need.
yeah.
I do that a lot. They're like, my daughter's like, yeah, Dad, it's been 2 minutes. Like, it has crap. um, Give me 2 more minutes. It's just, but at the same time, you know, at the end of the day, man, just communication, and I think not enough people understand that. Like, they get in the negative thoughts of I'm exhausted, but man, you got to set a better foundation for yourself. If you're tired after a long day of work, then you're not doing enough. You're
Mhm.
not doing enough for yourself to be a stronger person and a stronger figure to your children. I think that's a big. It's something that you have to look within yourself. If you have no energy at the end of the day out of work, then you should be either get a different job, because obviously that job is not good for you, and
Hmm.
find another way to give yourself that energy, because I think you're getting drained from your job. Or work on your health, work on your mental and physical health. Like, those are the things that you can do to better give yourself a better chance of not shunning your kids away. Is working on those things.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, my wife just left.
you're good, man. You're good. So yeah, no, it's exciting, guys. I love this conversation. I've been excited to share this story with you guys, and you guys have a very similar path in the sense of parent and fatherhood, which is exciting too to hear, because the more we understand that, the more people understand that, the better.
Mhm.
And I think that we have to to keep coming together, keep growing, and working through our own stuff every day and communicating.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, we'd love to, have you back on. We'd love to, if you would have us on your podcast, we'd love to be on there.
I love that. Yes.
Yeah. And just keep that, like we said, we want to build that community. So just keep that line of communication open and continue
Yeah.
to chat and hang out. And something when we've kind of, it's been a small talk, and something I've actually talked to Joe Jordan more than I've talked to DJ about is creating like a retreat, like a dad's retreat once a year. And so like
Yeah,
we're talking about speaking.
I'm doing that myself.
Yeah.
So we can work on that. I was going to do something locally in Arizona
Okay.
to start, but yeah, I've started. I've got a buddy that I've been starting a dad's men's group. I started a dad's group that we're going to start getting together. Our first meetings in February.
Nice.
Nice.
Things like that. I think those locally are really important to have. I think
Mm-hmm.
for you guys to start. I think, and we can make this a nationwide thing. I think there's there's all kinds of groups out there, right, that you can join, but there's never enough either. It's a matter of just like we've talked about, getting it started. So I love that.
Yeah, we had the Nashville dads on a bit ago. We talked to them every once in a while, and that's how they kind of grew their channel. Is because in Nashville, like they've been on the news, they've been everywhere in Nashville,
Oh,
talked to
really?
everybody, all the businesses and stuff, and so that's really how they blew up, was creating a community within their community.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's something I got to work on. That's something I got to work on this year. I agree with you guys. Let's do it. I'm down for it. Let's make
Yeah.
it happen. I think brainstorming ideas and going off feedback of each other and getting some. You guys have talked to some high profile people. It sounds like with Sean Whalen on. That's exciting too, because I got to figure out how to get. I got to start reaching out to people to get more guests on my podcast. So it's something. I'll have to get
All we
some
did is
info.
ask. Yeah, you
Yeah,
never know.
I don't. You never know. You just got to keep asking different people. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
I've asked a few people, but I haven't done it consistently. So that's something I got to work through on doing it. But just get people on. You're right.
Yeah, it is really cool. Like this year has been, like I said, this last month has just been extremely busy, and it's been wild, the people we've gotten to talk to and the people we've had on. So we've been extremely blessed this year, and it's been a really, really fun year so far.
Nice.
Mhm.
That's awesome, and I love that you guys are growing this and putting that word out there. That you guys are amazing, guys, and you guys for real like keep keep showing up for your kids, and that's the biggest thing.
Well, same
You
to
guys are
you.
making
Thank you for
appreciate
being the inspiring father and helping dads stay inspired. And we get your message every morning about like the dad quote and just an inspiring quote every day. So it's really cool
Yeah,
to see
I've been
that.
really. That's something new I've started this year. I've really been trying to push, reaching out to individually to people. I'll take about 400 or 500 people in the morning and spend 30, 45 minutes to just throw a message out there to them to kind of, and it's helped a lot of people. They're like, oh my God, this I needed this message today, right? So
Mm.
you never know the more positivity, the better, and you never know what somebody's going through, and so it's something that I've learned from a buddy of mine. He sends me. I get messages from other people every day too. I'm like, man, I gotta share this with. I gotta do the same thing with other people. I mean, I'm calling myself inspiring father. Well, I gotta start kind of be that type of person too. So it's something that I think hopefully helps people out there, man. That's all I'm looking for.
Yeah.
One person is all I needed to help. It doesn't have to be. If I can help one person a day, that's a good day.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I just I'll kind of echo Alex. Yeah, just thank you for being on the podcast. Thank you
Mhm.
for being vulnerable and talking with us about things. Like, it's not, these are not easy topics. These are not, you don't have to be vulnerable. You don't have to share your story at all. But
Right.
because you are, like you said, if I could just change one person a day, that's 365 people a year. Like, people don't
Yeah.
realize like that it's crazy, like if you just take it one day at a time, how much growth you can have, how much more people you can inspire and help, help them. And so appreciate your message. I appreciate you being on our podcast and being willing
Mm-hmm.
to share some of that with our audience. And so, yeah, I just wanted to say thank you.
Mm-hmm.
No, I can't thank you guys enough for having me. That's just exciting stuff. So I really enjoy talking to others and talking to like-minded folks like you guys, and that's what it's all about.
Definitely.
So,
Well, for everyone that's listening, where can they find you if they want to follow you and stuff like that?
so yeah, at Inspiring Father on my Instagram is the main one. I'm going to be starting up a YouTube channel more so, and the main thing, and then everything's on Inspiring Father on Instagram right now. Really, there's Facebook as well, but it's all kind of connected, I think. So, the main page I connect on is Instagram right
Awesome. Well, again, thank you, DJ. We'll see you in the next one, buddy. Everyone listening, we love you. Thank you guys for listening as always. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
now. Thank you guys, really appreciate you.
Thanks. Peace out.